Hello and welcome to yet another Tribal Council in Survivor Hamilton Old Meets New. We are here once again with the Nevala team that lost Thursday's immunity challenge and now needs to go from 5 players down to 4, which will mark kind of the smallest tribe in the game so far at that point. So the reason why we're here today is because in the immunity challenge, which was a very close one, Peter, who's not going to be joining the video today, and James got the incorrect answers. James, do you want to talk a little bit, kind of kick off the meeting, talk a little bit about kind of what went wrong there?
I'm actually kicking myself because I was out working, like I was out on a tractor on our property, and kind of lost track of time. And you happened to send the challenge out like right at 5 o'clock your time, 2 o'clock my time.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, and I guess I'm on a tractor and it's loud and vibrating and I can't, I can't hear my phone. So I like 2 minutes after, like Chris starts calling me, so I finally pick up and he's like, "Gotta send in your answer." So, I'm panicking and I go into the chat and I'm like, "What's the answer?" And someone's like, "Toronto." So I was like, okay, so I just sent Toronto. And then I'm like, I usually, double check everything, but I was in such a panic that I just sent the answer. And then I went to the website to check out what the actual question was. And as I read it, I'm like, oh shit, like it's definitely not Toronto. Toronto's not a national capital. And I'm like, I would have picked it out had I been paying attention. So like, I can't blame anybody but myself. So I'm just kicking myself. Like it was a challenge that we could have won. Because now knowing that, Kobara had the answer wrong, one of the answers wrong. So, but it is what it is. And,
so it sounds like the timing got you, because obviously you're 3 hours behind the majority of the players. So, this was one right at 5 that impacted you a little bit worse. And then probably neither you or Peter maybe were in a position at that moment to do a kind of quality control on the answer.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm mad, but I'm just mad at myself. I can't blame anybody because I should have been paying attention in the first place. So
right.
Yeah.
So thanks, James. So Chris, you and John and Amanda were active very, very early in that challenge and actually got the first question in first. So why didn't you take the time to make sure you got the second answer right? Like what happened with the second answer? Because obviously James and Peter didn't answer it themselves. They got the answer from you guys.
So being on the same tribe as Brian for a while, I'm always thinking about Brian and thinking that he's got the answer. Man, I'm panic. I'm like, if I take longer than like 2 minutes, I'm like, we're screwed. Brian knows the answer. So like me and John kind of worked through that first one. And then we came up with the same answer. So I thought it was right. And then I was looking at the second one and, I just saw Toronto. So I said, okay, send Toronto. And then, I didn't say send it. I saw John say it after me. So, it's that typical rule, like 2 people confirming like that. That's probably right then. So send it. And then, after we kind of calmed down, we started thinking. And I think Peter pointed out, guys, Toronto's not the capital of Canada. So we were in trouble at that point. We didn't really read the question fully or take a minute to think about it like we should have.
Well, I was hoping that somebody would get it wrong. I knew that Toronto was in there kind of first, and Lima is obviously a little bit more obscure for us Canadians. And so I was hoping that would happen, and it did. And sorry it happened to you guys.
Yeah.
Amanda, what was your thought kind of once you saw that Nevala had lost?
Well, everyone knows what it was. Like, I'm on a team with 4 guys and me. So it was obvious what was going to happen. Like I was just making jokes because I knew it was inevitable. So I didn't try too hard because there was not really a point in it. I laid out a few feelers, but I'm content with getting this far, so it wasn't so bad for me today.
So it sounds like you're saying that, you know, as soon as you saw that Nevala lost, you were like, okay, well, my time's up.
Definitely.
And you did a little bit of work. Was there ever a point where you felt like you were getting a little bit of traction, either this week or maybe in the past couple votes?
Well, Peter's not here, but I'm gonna talk about him anyway. He was just like, he sent me a message right away, and he's like, "Don't even try." He was like, he's like, "You're not gonna get me." But he did the same thing last week too. So I thought it was funny because he never says anything like the whole week, and then as soon as I was gonna message him, he was like, "Yeah, don't try it."
And I'm
So
the
he's
cocky dick, eh?
Pete might win for cocky dick this week.
Well, you know, something
But no,
that
I
yeah,
think,
go ahead.
yeah. I think that I've talked to the guys enough to know it was very clear, like it wasn't a secret. There was no lying or deceit or anything. It was fine. Yeah.
Does it sting? We talked to Dave a little bit about the fact that, you know, he did really well in the challenge, but then is going to kind of pay the price for you know, someone else in the challenge getting the wrong answer. Did it feel like kind of extra because you got the answer right, and it seemed like you guys were going to win the challenge, or do you never really know until the end anyway?
Are you talking to me or talking to somebody else? Was it me still?
I'm still talking to you. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, no, no, not really. No, it was fine. I was a bit bummed out. I was kind of hoping that Dave would have done some things last week to pave the way for this week, but he didn't. So I was a bit bummed out about how that ended, but this is how it is. So yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like
I'm on a team of cocky dicks. What can I say?
Well,
That's all.
one of those cocky dicks is John, and John, this is your 10th. If my math is correct, this is your 10th Nevala tribal council.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're going to survive this one. Why do you think you have been able to get through 10 immunity challenges without ever being a target?
Well, I think on the other side, we were on the wrong side of the vote, and then they somehow decided to convince your dad to change the vote, and then we were on the right side of the vote. And then when the tribes flipped, I was one of the fortunate ones to end up with my, I guess, pre-game alliances or people that I have prior relationships with. So it really turned out sort of the way that, like you said, when you draw the names out of the hat, half the people get the good like the tribe they want, and then the other half don't get it. And luckily, I ended up with a tribe that, we were able to work together. And then also the way this game goes is that there's not as much value per se on the immunity challenges. It's just the currency is more on the social side, right? So luckily, it seems as the way the game's played so far is that the social side is more prevalent than the immunity side.
So thanks, John. So it sounds like kind of on both tribes, but especially on Nevala after the tribe swap, you found yourself in a majority. You know, with maybe this group of four sewed up right from the beginning. Have you started to look at the other tribes and kind of imagined everybody coming together and started to look at where your numbers?
I think your numbers could look. I think you always think about it. The problem for me is that I didn't talk to half the people. So it's sort of weird for me to start talking like to say Kobara or Ulu to the people that I don't know, because it's like, what's this guy trying, right? Like it's just sort of not natural to start thinking that far down the road. And the way this game goes, it doesn't make sense to think 10 steps down the road. We don't know what you're going to do. We don't know if there's going to be a tribe swap or immunity challenge or reward challenge. Like you could throw a wrench in this game. So you might as well just take it one step at a time, work with the people you can, rather than it's something that you probably think about. But like you said, as soon as you start thinking way far down the road, you're going to get cooked or somebody's going to blindside you along the way.
Right. Thanks, John. So I just had a question and I just lost it. James, this is the 16th tribal council, which means it's roughly the 8th week of the game, or maybe exactly the 8th week of the game. Have you found 8 weeks in that it's getting a little bit, I don't know, is it getting taxing, or is it kind of not necessarily getting old, but do you find that kind of this long into the game, it's starting to impact the personal life a little bit more?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like, you know, like I mean, I can't complain because, you know, signing up for this, I knew that the tribal challenge was going to be between 5 and 6 p.m. my time, and you know, and like I know David Cox is all the way in England, and you know, the man's sleeping when the tribal challenge happens, and also I can't really complain, but yeah, like I mean, last time I played this game, I was voted out early, and it was a completely different game. So yeah, coming into this, I had an expectation, but yeah, like you said, 8 weeks in, it's kind of been getting to me a bit. Especially like the other day when we lost the challenge, when I was doing something else, and it just, you know, for me, especially living out here in BC on Vancouver Island, you know, I like to like go out and do stuff and not having to worry about answering texts, or you know what I mean, like I could leave my phone behind, or usually, you know, and do stuff, but it's been, you know, I had to pay a lot of attention to this, so yeah, it's been time consuming, and you know, draining some of my energy, but it is what it is. I signed up for this, so I'm you know, I gotta tough it out, but yeah, I'm at a point where I'm like, you know, hopefully the merge will happen soon. So it's, you know, that you know, once the merge happens, it's for the immunity idol, right? So if I don't get it, I don't get it. Whereas if I don't step up and answer in time, then the whole tribe pays for it. So yeah. Right.
It becomes an individual game at that point, and then you're really the only one dealing with the consequence yourself.
Exactly.
At that point. Yeah. Well, you know, and just to talk about, you know, when I was setting up this game, I didn't imagine that everybody was going to be part of every tribal council of video. I didn't even think everyone would participate in every single challenge. Like I figured some people would just be too busy, and then you just deal with the consequences of that. So I think that it's certainly fine to not necessarily participate in everything, or give as much of an attention to every single aspect of the game. But, you know, as long as you have that alliance and have those personal connections of those people who are paying that attention, so they can help you get through. And I think, Meg, you probably saw that last game where, you know, you and Stevie were putting, you know, probably more attention than Rebecca into all the aspects of the game, but she still got all the way to the finals with you, right? Yeah, she did. So I wanted to ask Chris, this game compared to last game, obviously you weren't in the last game for super long, but do you think was it weird this time to have such long gaps between tribal councils, like especially on Kobara? And then has it felt like there's been stretches of this game where you haven't really had to have been as active?
Yeah, definitely at the beginning of the game. Last time we played, we had two tribes. I think we're pretty much equal, and we really traded those losses. So we were active a lot more in our chats and kind of scheming and deciding who we were going to put up next. And then this time, just kind of felt like we were going to win every time. So it was nice at the beginning, and then it got kind of boring because it was like, well, we signed up to play a game here. Like maybe we should throw a challenge to those guys or something, you know, so we can have a little fun. But no one wants to do that, because if you throw it, you might be the one up there, you know. So, but yeah, there's a big difference, I think.
Well, and you know, what struck me is I was thinking, you know, as Amanda is expecting to go home today, I was thinking, looking back, kind of how many tribal councils, Amanda, you've participated in these 8 weeks, and it hasn't been a lot. And so, like, yes, you've got halfway through the game, but also there's been a lot of period of time where you haven't had to vote. And I'm wondering, do you feel like you missed out on part of the game that John has experienced going to 10 tribal councils? So that's a question for Amanda.
I think, I don't, well, it's nice to win, obviously, right? It's nice to not have to come to tribal because like through like those 8 weeks, like you're building relationships with people that like, even though that I was like a new, an old person, like I felt like I was new because I didn't really know a ton of people on the teams, but it's nice to get to know different people and to build some relationships. So it would have sucked having to vote people out every single week. But now it sucks though, getting closer to the end, winning, like having a lot of wins and not a ton of losses because it's been 8 weeks of getting to know people. So that kind of blows. But I'm not upset that I haven't got to experience stuff that John did. Because like you kind of got to duck and weave, right? And that's not really what I wanted to do either. So
okay,
yeah.
And Amanda, I'll follow up with you mentioned kind of joining Nevala and having to kind of rebuild connections. One thing Dave mentioned last week is that there was a pretty big difference between the level of communication and really just, I don't know if positivity is the right word, but just energy on Kobara and Nevala. Did you find that as well?
Yeah, I think so. Like there's some pretty positive, happy people in Kobara. So that was nice to have like some joking stuff, but it was also very new still too. Like we've been here, I don't even know how many weeks we've been the new Nevala. I can't remember, but I think that because people were very comfortable, like the people knew each other, like they were probably talking outside of the group. So there's not like a ton of chatter as you can see, like in our Nevala chat. So we do like a lot of off talking. So there's definitely a different dynamic, but I wasn't offended by any of it because I can take it as well as I can give it. So it was fine.
Understood for sure. So Chris, what do you guys have to do? If there's another immunity challenge as tribes, what does Nevala have to do to turn this around?
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult. We're down to the bare bones here. So if there's a couple more, I know that we'd probably we'd be in trouble. We'd be at least one of the next two, I would imagine. We just need to get on it faster. I think like in our solving, we're just kind of slow. But you also don't know how fast the other ones are. So we're kind of putting a lot of pressure on ourselves to just spit that answer out. Like for example, the last one we answered first, and if we had taken another 30 seconds to look at that and realize that the city we live in is not a national capital, we might have been okay, But the answer hit us after, and it was too late. And we could have taken that time. We didn't have to rush that in,
Well, and as your numbers get lesser and lesser, not having, in the last example, not really having James or Peter there in the group chat to help solve the challenge means that there's only 3 of you left to do it. And that's, whereas Kobara may have all 6 players helping each other. So it certainly gets worse as your tribe gets smaller. I don't have a ton more questions. I know Amanda had asked that we keep today brief. Does anybody have anything that they wanted to add or anything before we get to the votes?
Yeah, I'll say something.
Please.
Yeah. Amanda, if you get voted out tonight, we're going to miss you. It's been fun. And she's been, I feel like she's been one of the bastards. She's been voting with us and working with us. And, like I didn't know her before. I didn't really know her before coming into this game. But she's been honest, and she would do what she says, and I don't know. I enjoy playing the game with her, and it's a shame for us to be voting her out if she's getting voted out tonight. But yeah, just wanted to say that because she's been part of our tribe for a while. Well, me, Chris, Amanda, and Peter have been part of the same tribe since the beginning, and it's been fun, and I wish that we all 5 of us had made it to the merger, but it is what it is, and we'll find out what happens tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll add. One of the cool things about this game, in the past too, is like it brings a group of people that knew each other at one point back together after so many years.
Oh, Chris.
Unless she plays some advantage we didn't know about, but it's been really really fun to reconnect again, and our voting block was really 5. It wasn't 4 like people thought. We were always kind of together, yeah. So it was cool to reconnect. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well,
thanks
guys.
Dudes.
Yeah. Right on. So let's get to the vote. As is normal, if anybody had the Hidden Immunity Idol and it was going to be played, I would let you guys know now. And the results, once again, is that there will be no idol played tonight. So any idols that are out there are still out there. So all the votes will count. There will be a total of 5 votes today. So a majority of 3 is all that's needed to send somebody home. So we'll get to the votes. First vote, Amanda. Second vote, Peter. 1 vote Amanda, 1 vote Peter. Third vote, Amanda. Fourth vote, 15th person voted out of the game is Amanda. That's 4 votes to 1 is the total. So Amanda, you have been voted out of the game as you expected. Meg's shaking her head, but it seemed like it was pretty inevitable. But so thanks everybody for joining. We'll end this video here. Everybody can get back to their weekend except Amanda. We'll chat for another 5-10 minutes and let you get to your night. Okay.
All right.
Later, Amanda.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Take care, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.